Hello, friends, fans, subscribers. I want to do a recap from my visit yesterday to the Mysteries of Space and Sky conference in Crofton, Maryland, just 15-minute drive from where I live. So, of course, I had to attend this. So, a little recap or background on what that is Mystery of Space and Sky conference. It was started by Dr. Peter Resta, who is a psychologist out of the University of Maryland, which is also nearby here where I'm at. So, Dr. Peter Resta started studying UFO cases at some point and studying people who claim to be UFO abductees. And he said many of these cases had rational explanations. They had other explanations, night terrors or nightmares or sleep paralysis or whatever. But he said some of them don't have explanations. And so to try to get to the bottom of what happened to these people and get the experts in the field to come together and try to formulate opinion of what's going on and what's happening to these people. He created this Mysteries of Space and Sky conference. So he started out today with the conference kind of addressing the DNI report and the state of what our government's alleged disclosure of alien technology or whatever disclosure of something UFO related disclosure, right? So people think it's happening. The government is going to reveal, haha, look behind the curtain. I have all the magical alien technology right here the whole time. We'll see. So, what Dr. Allen or Dr. Peter Resta, excuse me, Dr. Peter Resta says is that this alleged disclosure kind of mirrors the alleged disclosure that was happening in the 60s. So in the 60s, the government started, or maybe the 50s, I'm sorry, started Project Blue Book because a lot of people were interested in what's going on with this UFO phenomenon, and we want an answer. So the U.S. Air Force got on the case with Project Blue Book, started investigating all these UFO cases. It formulated a study which called the Condon Report, even a scientific study with all this data from Project Blue Book, which that was later on, excuse me, but Project Blue Book started out studying all these UFO cases around the country, and essentially its job was allegedly to just explain away these UFO cases as natural phenomenon. Oh, that was a weather balloon. That was swamp gas. That was a plastic bag flying in the air. Who knows? Um, so later on, they publish a report and a book off of this Condon report, which was supposed to bring a scientific mindset to this problem, for sort of scientific eyes on this problem. Now, Dr. Reston pointed out, he said in this scientific report, the book over the report, he said they already made their conclusions before they had even looked at the data. They had decided they were going to dismiss this topic as silly and not even really worth discussing. It's kind of what Project Blue Book and the Condon Report wanted to get everybody's opinion towards. What this is a silly topic. It's not worth taking seriously. It's not something scientists should be looking at. It's not something people should seriously be spending any effort or time looking at. It's silly. We heard from Norman Gagman, who is a professional UFO investigator and has been on the Discovery Channel or Discovery Plus channel, has published and has been a field investigator for MUFON. So, what his job was, he said he was on what's called a STAR team. I forget what that was, but it's essentially like a quick reaction force for MUFON to say if anybody in the area has, an, I guess not a quick reaction force. He had described it more like it was the FBI of MUFON, and if a case needed more professional eyes on it, he would show up, fly out to anywhere in the country, talk to these people, get their testimony, get pictures, get sketches, anything he can get, collect all the data, even talk to these people and kind of direct them to any help they might need with any abduction related trauma. Um, but I thought it was really interesting, his background and how he got to that career path. So he's kind of started out as a special investigator and then got really involved with MUFON and then became like a UFO investigator that MUFON will, send you these UFO cases if you were an investigator for them. And that's what he did. And that would be cool. I would love to do that at some point. So I'm looking into, MUFON does have a training course on how to be a field investigator for UFO incidents. I'm definitely taking a look at that soon. Another speaker I found really interesting from the Mysteries in Space and Sky conference was Rob Swatek. I hope I'm saying that right, but essentially, Rob Swatek was a representative from MUFON, and he brought us the most interesting UFO cases and all the videos and photos he had. He had slides full of photos of UFOs to look at, and videos. I tried to get as many pictures as I could, or at least the ones that I thought were the most interesting. Um, and these are all cases that have happened very recently within the last few years. I noticed a lot of them were these unusual shaped objects, not like any typical UFOs that I've heard of described, like giant rectangles or a giant domino looking one was one. Some giant one that looked like, I don't know, tubes stuck together with a chain or something. It was very weird. Oh, he had a really pretty one that was kind of like this. I'll try to describe it the best way I can. It was like a structure in the middle with all these other structures coming out. I don't know how to, like, blobs, a sphere with like blobs all over it that glue and all different colors. It was pretty pretty cool looking, I thought.
Over here that I don't,
Rob, you have to move aside.
It seemed to emit two orbs that you can see to the right there.
Another speaker I liked was Richard Lang. He was talking about his book UFO Investigation: The Age of Disclosure, and basically what he says his book is kind of an explanation of this UFO lore that I'm talking about, this alternate history of mankind's interactions with UFOs, or at least the conspiracy part of it up until like Roswell or World War II and beyond. He talks about, and that's like, talks about how the Nazis had a UFO allegedly. The Americans took it and took the scientists with Operation Paperclip and started making their own UFOs, and then later got their own UFOs at Roswell and started a program to collect them all. And he kind of tells this whole story, he says, to just kind of the layman's person who hasn't studied it. It's just kind of an overall, here it is laid out. And that's what I want to do, but I want to look at each piece of evidence to support each part of that story and say how confident can we say this story is true. That's what I want to look at it essentially. But I probably will get his book. His book is in my Amazon checkout, Amazon wish list. I didn't get to see everybody I wanted to see at the conference. One of the later speakers that I missed was Justin Banforth, and I purchased his book and spoke to him a little bit. And he actually wrote me this nice uh, little message in the book about the YouTube channel, which I thought was really thoughtful. I gave him my card. Uh, his book talks about um, Men in Black, time slips, doppelgangers, paranormal activity, mysterious phone calls from robotic entities. Interesting. He's got a really wild story. If you watch this, thank you, Justin, for the nice message. I started reading this. I plan to finish it, and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. Was able to grab some cool UFO merch that I'll show off now. Some magazine looks it's from 1999, but still pretty cool. It's about a UFO case that I've heard about this man who said these essentially these UFO women tried to sleep with him, tried to jump in bed with him and sleep with him, and he even has one of their hairs, and they say it's some unrecognizable DNA. I'll read more about that. Maybe I'll talk about that. Had a great time at Mysteries of Space and Sky conference. Thank you for the people who set this up. Thank you for letting me set up my business cards. I had a great time. Really enjoyed coming. My first UFO conference, and I'll probably go to plenty more. And thank you. Signing off.